Hi, so my name's Jamie, and holidays are just about over. Christmas was wonderful, and I got something for Christmas that I thought I would share. I'm really into the history of tarot. It's one of the aspects that I use when I'm reading. I want to know what the original cards meant to the people at the time. I want to understand what the culture was, what their thinking was. So I want to see how people in the 15th, 16th century would have seen the cards and then used them for reading. Instead of just taking the guesswork or the interpretations, for the past 400 years, one building off the other, until finally the original intents or the original meanings are lost. So that's why I collect books on the history of tarot. I collect, I do my own weekly show on each card, looking at the history and things like that. So I've purchased different books to try and get my information. So there's books like this, the Tetchin one. It covers the artwork, but it covers a lot of modern stuff. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for. It's got some beautiful pictures and all, but then, a wicked pack of cards, which is amazing, really good. I've read the History of the Occult Tarot, which is the companion to this also. Again, really good book, but it covers the history, but it's not really one of those things that I go to when I want to take a look at the different pictures, compare them side by side, the Dodal to the Noble to the Visconti, etc. Of course, you've got the classic Kaplan encyclopedias, multiple volumes, and this is fine if you want to see entire decks, and it's an encyclopedia. So it's great for its references and things like that, but still, it's not always the easiest to find what you're looking for in these volumes. And then the book that I'm going through right now, which is really great, Reading the Marseille Tarot by J.M. David. So I have all these, and none of them have exactly been what I've wanted. And then for the holidays, my partner found a book that had just come out. She was surprised that it even came before Christmas. It was just released this December. And it is called Tarot and Divination Cards, a Visual Archive by Laetitia Barbier. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So the moment I opened up this book, I realized that this is a book that, if she hadn't written it, it's the one that I was contemplating on reading. She goes into, right in the introduction, she tells you what it is, what this book is really about. A visual archive is about culture of cartomancy in a broader sense, the art, the practice of reading cards, all types of cards. Within these pages, we'll look at the 6 centuries of card making and explore where this impulse to using them for prognostic and introspective work came from, who does it, and why. We'll see what these images translate about the humans, about our obsessions with playing cards, translating images into words and creating order out of chaos. How she does this is with pictures. So, first she gives you a brief history of the cards, starting with the Visconti, and actually going with the cards before the trumps were added with the pips. So even before the Visconti, and how the cards came across to Spain and Italy and developed from there. Jean Noble. She's got some other. So she's got a nice broad history here of the cards and how they evolved over time. But what's really amazing about this is when you get into your cards themselves, and she covers the majors, starting with the Fool. She gives you a nice little historical context about the cards. Then she starts showing you the cards. Here's the Solabuska. And then the Fool card from the Gringeneur. I don't know how to pronounce that. Or the Charles VI. She covers the Viville Tarot. But look at this. I mean, you can actually see the evolution as you're going through from the 1600s, 1800s, and the evolution as you're moving on with beautiful detail on these cards. Here's the Visconti. Then we have the Oswald Worth, 1889, and I love the Oswald Worth. So then she moves on to the other cards. So as you can see, she's covering side by side the historical cards in context. And this is just become my favorite book right now. Because again, I'm more interested in what the cards originally were and what they meant. I read the Rider-Waite Smith. I read some, the other cards, but I learned the Marseille Tarot just so I could get back to the basics. I think of it as having a foundation. If I can have a foundation of truth, a foundation of the symbolisms, like with the Noble, I have a Noble deck. If I can understand the original symbolism before the cards evolved into, instead of, I believe, what is it, the High Priestess, or the Papist, where you see originally it's just a chair with cloth, and then some people see that and decide that it's wings. As it moves along, it loses its context. It loses because it goes from one artist's impression, and some of these people that created the wood blocks just were better artists than I am, but they didn't get the details right. And so as it evolved along, the different details changed and modified until finally the current decks are not reflecting how they originally were seen. So all I want to do is I just want to suggest, oh man, look at that picture. That's something for the Hangman. I just want to suggest that if you have any interest in the history of the cards, if you want to get a good side-by-side comparison and understanding, this book is amazing. Just came out, and I cannot recommend it strongly enough. I'm still actually reading it. And not only that, but she also does, as we go through, she covers the minors, and she also goes into the different historical concepts of the cards, whether it's the French suits, Italian suits. So, again, I cannot recommend this book enough if you have any kind of an interest whatsoever. I saw that it's on Amazon. It's from a company, let's see, a Visual Archive. And I'm going to look up this publisher, CERNUNNOS, because I've never heard of that particular publisher, but if they are willing to publish something like this, I'm sure that it's probably worthwhile checking out their other books. So, this is Tarot and Divination Cards, a visual archive by Laetitia Barbier, and